I'm gonna preface this because this feels so weird. As I'm pulling in here, I'm like, I always feel weird because this used to be Hollywood Video. And growing up, they had pizza popcorn, which was really weirdly like chewy because it was, of course, you know, moist coating, but it was so good. And my brother would always bring it home because he worked literally right here. And apparently, this exact location of Hollywood Video was literally their headquarters. And I wish that they would have kept it in place and repurposed it to actually function as like almost a museum form of like Hollywood, like they did with the Blockbuster in Bend. But also, it's weird because as I pulled in further, I'm like, oh yeah, and then Izzy's is out of business, so the Izzy's building is probably going to be gone here pretty soon too, which is, again, really fucking weird. It just feels so weird when you have all that kind of change, where it's like, this is your, literally when you were growing up, this was your childhood, it was always there, that was always there, and now they don't exist. I didn't realize it didn't stop recording. Whoops. You just see that new development just barely through the trees just continues. You just see it continues to there. There actually, I guess there is separation between the buildings, but keeps going, which is cool because that's been like an empty lot for a long time. So if you watched either of my West videos, this is the West Trackway right here, and it follows the Pacific Rim Western tracks, which literally cross there at Farmington and here in Lombard. And it gives it the curvature and everything else, and how close it is to not only this street, but also TV Highway. It's fucking ridiculous. Wait. The proximity is just terrible. So this is the start of the area where they're like at their closest. TV Highway in Farmington. Wait. John, wait. This also is relatively new to me. Sun Tire Auto Tire Service. Oh yeah, it actually goes all the way onto the street here too. To whatever the street is. I actually didn't pay attention. Broadway. Of course it's a fucking Broadway. Fresh Start Detail Company. Look at that. The thing is that though it's really nice to be able to finally have something like this going on like downtown Beaverton in these areas where you have two major state highways and thoroughfares. It's really nice. It's good to finally have that chain shift. That's not redundant at all. You know, it's great. It's fucking great. We need that kind of stuff. But it's only fucking 6 stories. Or sorry, 5 stories. I can count. Like, so it's like a great start. It's good. It's finally going in the right direction. But it still sucks because it's like, it needs to be higher density than that. You're still really close to Portland. Like, you're like, 217's right over there, right here. They're expanding it. TV Highway / Canyon, Farmington / Beaverton Hillsdale. Everything here is downtown Beaverton. So like, the transit center's right there actually. Cedar Hills Boulevard, which takes you to fucking 26, just like that does, and every other north route south does. Hall, Watson, like what the hell's the point of only going 5-6 stories? It's the most American thing ever, but it's good that they're putting in these densities, you know? Even in parts of Aloha along TV Highway, they've been adding a lot more low density. You know, for a low-income neighborhood, especially out there, it makes sense. This building has never been able to keep a fucking thing in it for more than like maybe 2 years. I don't get why. It's super dumb. And then in this building, they have video only, which has been there for ever, and it's still there, it's still operational, it's still in business, and I find that to be absolutely hilarious, considering how all these other local businesses have gone out, and it's technically it's something like something cated. I can't remember, where basically it's old. I wish I remember that term. I have a hard time doing that for some reason. That cop needs something better to do with himself, because God, he's wasting his fucking time. He's clearly bored. It's the same exact cop that was up here for like 30 seconds on stopped somebody for no reason. That's classic Beaverton Police Department, though. They never have anything better to do. I'm actually gonna walk over to Izzy's. Rest in peace. Rip in peace. Now, that's what you say to a rock star. Rip in peace, man. Just sick and tired of touring. Tammy's Hobbies is still there, which is really fucking cool too. That's a mom and pop. So I love that. You can actually hear and see that there's a lot of transients, or whatever you want to call them, homeless, some mentally unstable, which is fine. I mean, that's just normal nowadays, unfortunately, in this country. But and then hold the wheat. That's yet another new thing. Jesus Christ. So ever since the Burgerville went out of that location, it was one of their oldest locations. Ever since Burgerville went out at that location, that building, ever since they did, turned into a Basics meat market. And Basics to me just reminds me, looks like I guess our local version of what Florida has, which is Publix. It sounds and looks like it. The branding's identical, which I guess is originally was our version, what we would call Thriftway, which pretty much doesn't exist almost anywhere anymore. It's too expensive. But yeah, video only. I still wonder if they still are like selling VCRs and shit, because if they did, that would be so fucking rad. Be like, oh, hell yeah. I still own the VCR that my family's owned from whenever the hell they bought it back in the 90s, or possibly late 80s. And it still works like a gem. So this is Izzy's. And I'm gonna at least look through the windows and see if mayhaps they actually completely abandon it, or if they have been maintaining internally. It looks like they've probably been maintaining. Faith, hope, and love. Whoop, almost. Yep. I'm just gonna do it easy. Put my knee up there. Ooh, spoilers. Well, they've done some stuff with it, though that's obviously fallen from up here, for sure. But they've done some stuff with it. They tore out the trim. They tore out some of the, I guess what I'm calling the trim, right? The little wall boards and stuff, right? They torn out the flooring, so now it's just baseboard. And yeah, some of the insulation, either in the wall here or up in the ceiling, has fallen out. But the fixtures are still in there as they were, and yeah. Hometown Buffet also went out, which sucked, because I loved Hometown Buffet, which was just down that way. But this is our true local joint. Right here was Izzy's. Yeah, it was okay. It was probably in the walls there, the insulation. Fiberglass, as usual. Cheap, but they're like, oh, it's so safe. It's really not, because when you install it, you're actually required to wear, that is up there too. You're actually required to wear masks and stuff like that, because you don't want to be breathing in flow fibers of literal glass. It just doesn't make any sense. But yeah, so the bar was literally where I have the camera pinned against the window. It was literally just down over the little waiter's wall there, server wall. And of course that's where they had a little sink, and they had their little pop, I'm not coming up with the word again, but the little pop dispenser. And of course they had some other stuff to deal with, dirty dishes and stuff, before they bust them into the back. And then they had the normal stuff bar. They had like the pizza, and they had the like the main entrees all along down the staircase. If you look through that, was like a chute. It was all along there from like the entrance, just inside to the right of the entrance area and lobby, to the right here where you see the wall, like up to about where the corner of that far wall is. That's where the main entree bar was. I've actually sat, me and my family have sat literally right in this alcove right here in the booths. We've sat right there before many times in the booth behind it. Of course, we sat once back there. But usually it was almost always up in this little area here. To be gentle. Izzy's Pizza. Right where you see my reflection, directly in that little alcove there. They had, obviously on the other side of the actual entrance bay, they had their little palm reader thing, you know, those things from the 90s that were ever so popular. And we actually, the last time I was here, we actually got sat down here. Except I think a little further on, down the way, like on the other side of the wall, back in there. This actually, because it's a little back area, this actually might have been like a smoking parlor, smoking room, I imagine. That also is probably why, now that I think about it, that's probably why they had the privacy glass up halfway. Yeah. So that's probably like the smoking room for the adults and like the bar thing. But it's interesting. Those obviously must have been the bathrooms, or actually no, that's probably the kitchen. But I don't know. Maybe that was where we were just at then. I don't know, because we were sat somewhere on this end of the building. So, but there's the car. A little roaming device for today. Yeah, I guess that's kind of the tail end of the building. Maybe we were sat in that little alcove. I don't remember that being the case though. But interesting. I wonder if they changed it like the last thing. Chimking? Chicken. Well, I figured chimking was probably chicken because people like to call it chimpkin now. Angles on all my camera devices is just super weird. I don't get it. It's like I point it directly at something and it's always off kilter by a noticeable amount. But yeah. I wonder what they're going to replace that with. Honestly. Honestly. I don't even remember what was there. I don't remember at all, to be quite honest. Yeah, that's that.